Living in a beach town in San Diego is the dream, but the problem is it can be quite expensive, and there are a lot of coastal areas and communities and neighborhoods to consider. So which ones are the right ones and which ones are the ones that you should avoid? Exactly what we're talking about in this video. My name is Dan Parker with the Best Life Home Team, your San Diego real estate resource. In this video, we're going to break down the beach communities, the various beach communities all up and down the coast from Mexico to Orange County, and we're going to tell you which ones you should consider. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you 3 steps to figure out exactly what neighborhood makes the most sense for you and for your family. And before we get started, I just have one favor to ask. Let me know if you like or dislike any of these neighborhoods. If I'm saying the right thing or the wrong thing, let us know in the comments so more people can learn from you as well. First, let's start off with the most objective of all the categories, which is going to be the cost of living in these coastal areas. And what we tend to find is the most expensive coastal communities happen to be the most central coastal communities in San Diego as well. And leading the list this year is Del Mar with a median price home of $3,950,000. Now, keep in mind that's the average home, both attached and detached properties combined. And in most of these areas, depending on how many attached and detached properties they have, you're going to see quite a difference between the two. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, detached properties are going to be single family homes. Attached properties are going to be condos and townhomes where you have someone living either next to you or above or below you as well. Coastal Del Mar, for example, currently has 22 single family detached properties for sale today and only 6 attached properties, so condos and townhomes. And although Del Mar is leading the list, you also have some other very expensive coastal communities. So topping that list is going to be Coronado at $2,475,000, Solana Beach at $2,387,000, and La Jolla at $2,135,000. And just to put this in perspective, La Jolla might be number 4 on that list, but part of that is because they have a higher percentage of attached properties as well, which is going to bring the overall price a little bit down. And if you're looking for affordability when it comes to beach living in San Diego, you kind of look at the bookends of San Diego County. So you have Imperial Beach on the bottom and Oceanside on the top. And those two areas are by far the most affordable. So if you prioritize living by the beach, whether you're looking for a rental or a single family home or an attached property to purchase, any of those options are going to be the most cheap, the most affordable in both of these areas. In Imperial Beach, the median price home is $790,000, and in Oceanside, the median price home is $840,000. Imperial Beach, you have almost exactly a split mix, or exactly a split mix. We have 19 detached and 19 attached properties as far as what's for sale today. And when you're looking at Oceanside, you actually have 12 single family homes and 30 attached properties. So you actually have a lot more attached properties than you have detached properties. So when it comes to purely cost, Oceanside and Imperial Beach are going to be the best bang for your buck, the cheapest entry level point of getting by the beach, whereas Del Mar, Solana Beach, La Jolla, and Coronado are going to top the list as far as most expensive. So now that you have a better idea of what affordability looks like in these coastal communities, I want to talk about the biggest outlying positives and negatives for each specific area, whether that has to do with attractions, things to do, just some negatives as far as the specifics of where it's geographically located. We're going to talk about the most salient things when it comes to these coastal communities so you can help parse out which ones are the best and worst. And before I get into this a little bit more, I have to say, there absolutely are positives and negatives of every single coastal community here in San Diego, and every single one of them has at least a small downtown, walkable, fun area to hang out in. They all have beaches that you can hang out on and surf and do all the beach activities. So they all have a lot of positives going for them, but there definitely are some negatives, which I'm going to start with. And when it comes to negatives, there probably isn't a bigger negative than Imperial Beach that has to do with the sewage overflow issue from Tijuana. So Imperial Beach lines up to the border of Mexico. And the issue here is the water treatment plant in Tijuana, the sewage treatment plant that's along the coast, is underfunded and falling apart. And because it's so close to the coast, on certain days when the tide is going north, it can carry some of that sewage overflow into Imperial Beach and parts of Coronado. So as a result of that, we can find that the beaches and the going in the water can be closed a large portion of the year. So hopefully this is an issue that's going to be resolved. California has talked about putting money into this treatment plant to help fix it up so that it's no longer an issue for California, for San Diego in general. but we haven't gotten quite there yet. And the other negative about Imperial Beach is if you look at sites like niche.com and greatschools.org, the ratings of the school systems in this area are not the best. So if you're looking at public schools, greatschools.org, which connects with Redfin. So one of the nice things about Redfin, if you're searching for a home, is you could search based on the greatschools.org school rating for that area. In the ratings for the schools that they have by greatschools.org, they are between 2 and 6 out of 10. So in total, not great. Although I will say on niche.com, which is one of my other favorite sites for looking for ratings of different areas, they have public schools as a B-. So not terrible, but the specific areas you want to look a little bit more into yourself, but I would be a little bit skeptical for this area. And the next negative, unfortunately, has to do with the other most affordable area, which is Oceanside. And don't get me wrong, I've done plenty of videos on how I feel Oceanside is one of the best opportunities throughout San Diego County, especially when you're talking about how expensive or how affordable it is to live in a beach community, along with how much they've turned around over the last couple of years and how much opportunity for growth there is over the next 10 to 20 years. But that doesn't mean there aren't negatives. Look, there are some really fun, hip, new restaurants and craft restaurants, locally owned restaurants and bars over in Oceanside that we really like to go to when we live in Carlsbad. A lot of times we'll go up to Oceanside because we actually prefer a lot of those places, especially in South Oceanside and kind of the downtown Oceanside area. But the truth is there are parts of Oceanside that, leave a little bit to be desired. They're still kind of developing. There are a lot of, especially in the coastal areas, there are a lot of car dealerships and kind of, big older abandoned buildings that have turned into car dealerships and, not really the places that you want to go walk around. So it has a ways to go before it is fully up to par with some of the other coastal communities, but you can find some value in Oceanside, but there are some negatives there as well. And the other big negative, and look, I'm not talking about cost here because we did an entire section about cost. So not including cost, the other big negative of a coastal community in San Diego has to do with Pacific Beach. Now, Pacific Beach is one of the best opportunities for someone to get into a central beach community, but you have to be aware that it can be quite noisy and crowded, and it's definitely less family oriented because there are a lot of college students that live in Pacific Beach. So there are a lot of bars, there are a lot of clubs. It can get a little bit rowdy on the weekends. Now, my recommendation for most people is if you want to live in Pacific Beach, you want access to the restaurants and the bars and the things to do, get to the northern end or the southern end so you can be a little bit farther away from the main streets, Grand and Garnet, which tend to get a little bit congested. All right, let's switch over to the positives. And I'm actually going to start with Pacific Beach on this one because I feel like there's a negative, there's an overwhelming negative and an overwhelming positive at the same time. And the positive has to do with how affordable it can be for a beach community. There are a lot of attached condos and townhomes that are way more affordable than some of the other areas like Encinitas, La Jolla, Del Mar. You can find a lot more affordability while staying central. There's also a lot to do here, which can mean it can be a little bit chaotic and loud at night, but there's a lot to do. So there are a lot of different restaurants and bars and clubs and shops and all sorts of different places. Like, I don't think you could live here and actually eat at every single restaurant and go to every single cafe because there are so many of them. Pacific Beach also has some of the best beach area to just go hang out in. I mean, miles and miles of white sandy beaches with a boardwalk going along the entire stretch. So it's fun because you can go out and skateboard or ride a bike or roller skate or walk along that entire boardwalk. And it's some fun people watching, that's for sure. The next positive I'm going to say is probably the least likely that most people are going to end up at, which is Coronado. Now, the negative of Coronado is you definitely are isolated because, well, it's called an island, even though it's part of a peninsula. But most of the time, if you're getting to and from Coronado, you have to go over Coronado Bridge, which makes it a little bit challenging to get in and out. But this is an area that, along with a very strong military presence, about half the island is dedicated to military operations. It's also just a really unique slice of paradise. What you find in Coronado and the look and feel of Coronado is unlike any other beach community throughout San Diego County. It has to be one of the best places to visit. Between the unique actual beaches, they have a really fun dog beach, and they have a really amazing and quaint downtown area. Now, I didn't have this on my list, but I'm going to add one additional positive for a completely different area, which is Ocean Beach. Now, Ocean Beach is a unique area, so it's definitely not for everybody. It's a fun place to go hang out. Definitely not everybody would love to live there, but one of the positives has to be for dog owners and dog lovers, the best dog beach probably across the country is in Ocean Beach. So people come from all over San Diego County to go to OB Dog Beach. And the last coastal community that has an incredible positive has to be my personal favorite out of all the coastal communities in San Diego, which is Encinitas. And the positives here are that it is a really nice area, really fun downtown area. Now, Encinitas actually encapsulates, is that the right word? It has Cardiff by the Sea and Leucadia is all inside of Encinitas, in the city of Encinitas. So it includes all those places. So it kind of has three little mini downtowns, like one main downtown and two other downtown areas along the coast with really great restaurants and things to do and beaches and just nice communities. This area is great because it's very nice, like I had mentioned. It's a very laid back surfer vibe here. So just the people that you encounter are extremely friendly. It's a lot of locals. It's less touristy and just a fun place to be. So if you're looking for a beach community for you, what I would recommend is starting out to figure out where do you want to be? Do you want to be central? Do you want to be south? Do you want to be north? And generally what we find is when people first move to San Diego, they want to be central. They want to be close to downtown. They want to be close to North Park and Hillcrest and all the communities surrounding Balboa Park, those fun, walkable communities. They want access to the airport and they just want to be central, right? Why would you want to move to San Diego to not be in the city of San Diego? But I'll be honest, it doesn't mean it's for everybody. Now, the main drivers of living in South San Diego is primarily affordability, or if you have a job, or if for whatever reason, you're going to be going in and out of Mexico all the time. So proximity to Mexico. You could be in and out of Mexico, maybe at least into Mexico, in a short 15-minute drive from some areas in South County, San Diego. And then you have the area that we recently moved to, which is North County, San Diego, which is very fun. There is a lot to do. It is less touristy. It is newer communities. What else? I mean, it's a wonderful place to be, but you have to figure out which one of those three areas, Central, South, or North County, do you want to be in? And the second step to figuring out the best community or beach community for you is going to be to figure out the budget that you have and the type of home that you want to live in. Now, whether you're a college student or someone that is starting out their career and you have a roommate or willing to have a roommate in an apartment, or having an apartment to yourself, or renting a townhome or single family home, to purchasing something, figuring out your budget is going to be absolutely the first step. I work with people relocating to San Diego all the time. And what I find is there can be a desire to live in one place, but then when you actually consider what they are looking for and what they're willing to negotiate to live where they want, this area fits a little bit more into their budget. So figuring out the budget and the type of home and type of living situation is going to be the second step into figuring out which of those areas is best for you. And third is going to be reaching out to a real estate person or real estate team to help customize what is the right community for you. So you do some of that research on your own. You could even, if you want to skip this step, especially if you're looking for a rental and you just want to crowdsource some information, Reddit also has a very nice resource. There's what they call a subreddit. It is moving to San Diego, moving the number 2 San Diego, and you can crowdsource. You can see what questions people have asked when relocating here and the answers that people have given about different areas and what makes the most sense. I've done an entire video about using Reddit to move to San Diego. So if you aren't ready to reach out to a real estate agent, Reddit is another really great source of information for you. And if you do want to do more research on your own, this is just dipping your toes into which community is best for you. I've done entire videos walking the streets of these different coastal communities, which you can find up here and down here. I'll put it all over the place for you. And if you are looking to buy or sell a home in San Diego County, my team and I, we would love to help. Our contact info is down below. Thanks for watching.